of you guys, right? Well, because the people around you have not lived up to their full potential does not mean that you can't. Okay? That does not mean that you can't. So you cannot let your past or your surroundings dictate your future. You just can't do it. Focus on what's ahead of you and on achieving what you want to achieve in spite of your past. Having a difficult past can make a successful future even more rewarding. How many guys have went through something, but once you went through it and you achieved what you want to achieve, it just felt that much better? You know, it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it was hard, but I did it. You know what I mean? And you probably wouldn't feel the same way if it was easy. Nah, I'm not saying, hey, just look for the hard road so you can feel a lot better later. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that it's going to happen at some point, and just weather the storm because there's going to be sunshine behind. Okay? Now, let me tell you a story. Like I said, I came to the United States when I was 12 years old. I went to Louisiana High School, half of my high school years, and I graduated from Artesia High School in '95. I played 2 years at UCLA, and I played my last 2 years at Azusa Pacific in Azusa, California. But the years at UCLA, they were very, very difficult for me. The school was wonderful, I loved it. The weather was great. The beautiful young ladies were beautiful. But I was going through some stuff on the basketball team. See, when I came, there was a coach that brought me in, and he happened to get fired in the midst of me being there. Now, the coach that took over somehow kind of fired me too. And I had nothing to do with it, you know. So, my goal was always, people always ask me, hey, do you wish that you played for the NBA? And my goal was never to make it to the NBA. My goal was just to get paid to play basketball. That's all I wanted. I didn't care who was going to pay me. My first check ever for playing basketball was $1,000. And I ran to my apartment. It was in Costa Rica. I ran to my apartment and I looked at the check and I cried because I accomplished one of my goals. And it was only $1,000, but it was my goal to get paid. And somebody said, here, for playing basketball. Now, when I was at UCLA, that was my goal. I want to get paid for this. And this coach, for some reason, was getting in between me and my goal. He would put me in the game. He'll put me in the game, and as soon as I did something good, he'll pull me right back out, and I wouldn't play ever again for the rest of the game. I'm like, what in the world? Who's gonna pay me for this? So I decided to leave, and that's when I went to Azusa Pacific, and I had a wonderful career. And then I was able to achieve a whole bunch of different things. But I'm gonna tell you, he was my biggest motivation right there. You know, they say the biggest revenge is massive success. Okay, I got paid for basketball for 14 years. Okay, he tried to stop that, but he didn't. But I thank him because he made me get up off my seat. He made me go out there and shoot at 3 o'clock in the morning. He made me go work out. He made me go get up at 5 o'clock and run. He made me, before any beautiful young lady came to visit me, she had to come to the gym with me and pass me the ball. True story. True story. And if she didn't want to do that, I don't want to see her. Because you're going to be right there next to that coach motivating me too. So you have to find a driving force to help you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Okay, that was my driving force. What's yours? I don't know. I know every single one of us have one, and you have to find that force and don't look at it. I know it's negative, but use it in a positive and just, this is, okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. Now, number 2, okay? Focus on the positives. Focus on the positives. Now, focusing on the positives will help you create a more positive attitude, and having a more positive attitude will help you succeed. I'll tell you, that is a proven formula. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. You know, I never had a name for it, but my entire life I lived that way until I read the book, The Secret. I'm sure a couple of you guys have heard, and that's when I put the name to it. I said, wow, that's what I've been doing. You know, the law of attraction. You know, and at times when it's very hard to think positively, I just found a way to do it. I'll tell you, right when I finished college, I told you I went to Costa Rica. My first job was $1,000 a month. So needless to say that when I came back home, I was broke. All right, so I put some money aside. I bought me a 1976 Cutlass Supreme. All right, the first car I bought myself. Like, I'm nice. And, but that was my car, and that was about to be my home, too. I had to take care of that car. But somehow, the mayor of West Covina, somehow, he had connections with Isuzu Pacific, but also his family had connections with the Panamanian government. And because of that, he took a liking to me. And he told me, okay, listen, I'm going to give you 2 weeks stay at this Holiday Inn in West Covina. You know, that's all I can do for you. But after 2 weeks, I'm sorry, but you're on your own. Man, thank you. You know, and I never spoke about what I was going through. I was just dealing with it and trying to figure out. So I don't know how he figured it out. To this day, I have no idea. But he gave me those 2 weeks, and during those 2 weeks, it was the summertime. During those 2 weeks, I was playing in every single basketball tournament out here in LA, in Long Beach, and we had one called the Real Run. It was in Carson. And I played with Paul Pierce. I'm playing alongside and against millionaires when I'm broke. And I played, like every tournament I was playing with Paul Pierce. You know, he's from Inglewood. I grew up in Harlem. And the same, you know, we were around the same age and all that. So I said, I know a lot of people are going to come to watch Paul Pierce because he's known and he's playing for the Celtics. But before they leave, they're going to know who I am, too. You know, so I took advantage of that, and I played my heart out. In every tournament, I was eating peanut butter and jelly for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, and don't forget, I don't want to forget, I also had one of those big old jars of, you know, the 99-cent Kool-Aid Tampico. So that was my meal, but nobody knew. I was just out there just playing. And so 2 weeks till I have to live out of my car. And now it's 2 days before I have to live out of my car. And I get a phone call. And it's from the Harlem Globetrotter. Now I go from zero money in my account to them offering me a 6-digit contract. And I was 2 days about to live in my car. But for some reason, I never worried. I always stayed positive. I try to control what I could control, and that was the way I played basketball. That's all I could control. Anything else, I couldn't control. So the funny thing is, one of the questions that he asked me, he said, yeah, we're offering you a contract, but I don't know if you're going to be able to do this, but this is what we want. This is what we need you to do. We need you to, as soon as possible, move to Arizona. We have an apartment for you. I said, Coach, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, that 1970, either 5 or 76 Cutlass Supreme, and this is a true story. If you go to the West Coast Arena, Holiday Inn, it might still be parked there. I left it right there. And I was gone. So funny when he asked me that, boy. And okay, so the third thing is you have to surround yourself with positive people. You have to do that. Don't you have that friend that calls you, and every time she calls or he calls and you see the phone, oh, what she want now? And it's just negative. And if you don't have that friend, that means you're that person. Negative people is just toxic to your health. You know, they bring you down, man. They bring you down. And you know what? Some of these people, I'm sorry to say, but some of these people are our own family members. Sometimes it's our cousin, you know, our brother, our sister. It's just every time it's just, what happened now? Like the world is against them. Like this world does not care about you that much that it's just going to be against you. You know what I mean? So you have to surround yourself with positive people. You know, and try to help those people that all it is negative. Try to help. And if you try and it doesn't help, I'm not telling you what to do when I'm gone. That's what I'm doing. You just gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? So, I'll tell you, there are two questions that we should ask ourselves anytime we're facing adversity. One, will I allow this adversity to make me bitter? Am I gonna carry this? Am I gonna be mad and am I gonna become that person that I was just talking about? That's one question you could ask. The second question is, will I use this adversity to make me better? Okay, and that goes back to the story I said at UCLA. I used that. That was my fuel to help me reach what I wanted to reach. And those are two questions that we can ask ourselves every single time there's some type of adversity. And I can guarantee you, somehow it will help you. Okay, now, there was, what I want to say before I end is, you know, you guys have reached a milestone in your life. Don't stop now. Don't stop. This is just one goal of many that you have reached. Okay, don't let anything get in between you and your goal, anything or anyone get in between you and your goal. You know what your goals are. You know why they're important to you. Your goals do not have to be important to nobody else. No one has to understand why you want to go and get an AA. Why do you want to go and get the certificate? Why do you want to finish the ESL program? Nobody has to understand that, okay? Hopefully they'll support you, but if they don't, you got to keep going. You got to keep going anyway. You have to keep going anyway. All right? Now, it was Henry Ford that said, he wrote something that I really like and I want to share with you guys. Life is a series of experiences, each one of which makes us bigger, even though sometimes it is hard to realize this. For the world was built to develop character, and we must learn that the setbacks which we endure help us in our marching onward. Thank you very much for having me today.